Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of Art for Engineers. My name is Erin and I am here to help you discover your inner artist. Today we're going to be talking about gestural drawing. In our last episode we talked about lines and curves and we kind of went over the basics of pencils. I know, super basic, right? But there's a lot of things that you can do with different types of pencils and we just wanted to explore how you can make a line really interesting on its own. Then we kind of delved a little bit into curves and spheres. So today we're going to carry on with that and we're going to talk about gestural drawing. Now the reason I think this is really important to do early in the lessons is because, like I mentioned in the previous episode, I think there's a lot of tendencies for people who don't think that they're artistic to be hesitant when it comes to putting images on a paper. I think every artist has experienced that moment when looking at a blank piece of white paper is really intimidating. Nobody feels that more than beginning artists. Don't be intimidated. You cannot mess this up. And that's what makes gestural drawing so much fun, is you're really just using those same spheres that we were drawing at the end of episode 1, and you're turning them into what is essentially the basics of an image. You're creating volumes out of space and tying them together into something. I know, maybe that sounds a little esoteric, but it'll make more sense when we get started, I promise. Okay, so we're going to jump right in today since we already know the basics of our pencils and paper. And today I'm going to be using the 2B. Like I mentioned, for me this is a great pencil for beginners because it's dark enough that you can put a lot of tone on the paper without overwhelming yourself. And it's fluid enough in the way that it puts tone down that you won't get caught up and worried, and it's just really a satisfying way to make marks on a page. Okay, so gestural drawing. What do I mean when I say gestural drawing? I think the best way to show you is just by example. So we're going to make a gestural drawing of my hand. I know, really exciting. But everybody has hands, right? Well, okay, that was insensitive of me. Not everybody has hands, but enough of you have hands that I think we can safely say, pick up a pencil in one hand, try to draw the other hand. Pretty basic. You can carry those things everywhere with you. So I'm going to put my hand out in a really relaxed position. That way I don't have to worry about holding it in some weird contortion. So we're going to just do a really relaxed pose with my hand. And then gestural drawing is really just about making spheres and turning them into something. It's that loose. You don't need to worry about doing this correctly or accurately. If by the end of it, what you've drawn looks remotely like a hand, then you've done it correctly, okay? So we're going to just start by looking at the kind of volumes that we see here. So there's like a volume of my nail and a volume of my thumb and a volume of my hand here and here. And then my fingers are kind of broken up into separate volumes, right? We've got this little notch here, this little bit here, kind of ends with a third. So you can break your finger into 1, 2, 3, and you've got another 1, 2, 3, and then on my hand I've got a little bit there. 1, 2, 3, and under my ring there's another little bit there. 1, 2, 3. And really the point about gestural drawing is to just start paying attention to those differences in the way that something as basic as your hand is constructed. And then you just start going for it. So I'm going to start with the thumb, and I'm just going to kind of carve out something that looks approximately like my nail. And you're just really following some of this intention of volume and creating basic idea of what your hand might look like. And like I said, you cannot do this wrong. That's what makes it so satisfying. And if you get off, like look, the distance between my thumb here and my fingertip here, that's pretty significant. What I've drawn is much smaller, right? It's just that distance here. But truly, in this exercise, that doesn't matter. You're really not worrying so much about 100% accuracy. You're just worried more about putting shapes on the page. And then we're going to fill in down here because there's a bit of fingers peeking through. And you got this bit of my knuckle here. Kind of comes around. Right? It looks crazy. But in that craziness, if you can see the basics of a hand, then it's a successful gestural drawing. It's really that simple and that easy. You can change the way your hand is laid. You can lay it flat. You can curl it up into a fist. You can turn it over. You can do whatever you want. And you can do this endlessly. Once you've kind of gotten comfortable with gestural drawing your hand, maybe then you can move on to other objects. Anything you see around you can be done gesturally. That could be your shoe. That could be your cell phone. That could be another pencil. Really, it's fine. It doesn't matter. But it just matters that you're using really loose lines, really just like creating this volume of space and carving it out. And look, suddenly I've got my laptop right there on the page. It's that easy. So I really want you to try doing this gestural drawing. It's messy, it's loose, it's meant to be that way. And the intention behind this is just to get you really looking at an object and breaking it down into manageable volumes and putting it down on the paper. I think that, like I said, people get intimidated. This exercise is a great way to get you making something that looks basically like another object that you've drawn. You drew this in about 30 seconds and you can't mess it up. So I encourage you to pursue doing gestural drawings. Keep working on your lines, keep playing with your tools, play with different kinds of pencils. And you know, if you find that a 2B pencil is not working for you and you want to go use a 2H because you just really prefer having your lines thinner and more manageable and more controlled, like that. So then we've got the thumb that comes up here, the knuckle here, the basics of a hand. That's fine. Whatever works for you. And I think that's what's really important to remember. Okay, so that's it for the lesson for today. Please send me pictures of your guys' gestural drawings. I really look forward to seeing them. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter, or of course visit my website, artof9to5.com. Use the hashtags Art for Engineers or Art of 9 to 5, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Until next time, my name is Erin, and thanks for joining me.